We immediately move to news coming in from the northeast, where one of the more peaceful states in that part of the region, Meghalaya, has been put under curfew for the next 48 hours after petrol bombs were allegedly hurled at the private residence of the Chief Minister of Meghalaya, Mr. Conrad Sangma. Fortunately, no one was injured or hurt, and he was not present there at the time. Meghalaya has been in a state of boil over the last 48 hours in the aftermath of the death of a former militant, CM, following the death of a former militant, Chesterfield, thank you, in Shillong, after which there was a situation where the curfew had to be imposed for the next 48 hours. Mr. Thank you was killed in a firing, and he belongs to a banned organization called the Yantriep National Liberation Council, which claims to represent the rights of the Garo and Jaintia people in the state of Meghalaya. And in the aftermath of his death, the Home Minister of Meghalaya tendered his resignation, and now the state is in a state of curfew for the next 48 hours, where internet services have also been suspended. We're joined by Arindam on the phone line for the latest updates. What's the situation like in Meghalaya, Arindam, in the aftermath of not just petrol bombs being hurled at Mr. Conrad Sangma's private residence, but also the killing of a surrendered militant, Mr. Thank you, who belongs to a banned organization? What's the situation like now in the capital city of Shillong?
Well, the situation in Meghalaya, and particularly in Shillong, remains very tense and volatile. Yesterday, there were several incidents of violence, like stone pelting, arsoning, and vandalizing vehicles, including a police vehicle which was set on fire by miscreants in Shillong. So the situation right now remains very tense and volatile. The situation turned worse after police killed in an encounter a surrendered militant of HNLC group. He was the general secretary of the HNLC group, Chesterfield, thanks you, last Friday. Actually, police has stated that he was linked to the twin IED explosions which rocked Shillong last Wednesday, and in a pre-morning operation which was carried out at his residence last Friday, the surrendered militant tried to attack the police with a knife, and the police had to do a retaliatory firing in which the militant leader got killed. So this has sparked a massive protest across Meghalaya, particularly Shillong. And yesterday it took a violent turn when there were stone pelting by hooded masked men in Shillong. There was arsoning, a police vehicle was also set on fire. And in fact, the weapons of the police were also snatched by the miscreants. Following this incident, the Home Minister of Meghalaya, Lakman Rimbai, had also tendered his resignation. He was under tremendous pressure after the encounter took place in which the surrendered militant got killed, because all fingers were pointed at him that it was under his direction that the operations took place in which the militant leader got killed. So the Home Minister of Meghalaya had tendered his resignation, proposing for a judicial inquiry into this matter. And not only that, last night the private residence of Meghalaya Chief Minister Conrad Sangma in Shillong was also attacked with 3 petrol bombs. However, the Chief Minister doesn't stay at his private residence, since he stays at his official residence in Shillong. So the situation right now remains very tense and volatile. We have heard that 10 companies of paramilitary forces have been deployed in Shillong to bring the situation under control, and internet services has been suspended.
Arindam, please explain to us the build-up to what's been happening in Meghalaya, because Mr. Thank you was an erstwhile member of the Yantriep National Liberation Council, which claims to represent the interests of the Khasi as well as the Jaintia people in Meghalaya. He was accused of being involved in an IED blast a couple of weeks ago in Shillong, following which he was accused of, or rather there's an allegation that he was killed in retaliatory firing in the aftermath of that IED blast, and that's when the situation began spiraling out of control in Shillong.
Yes, the situation took a flashpoint last Wednesday when there were 2 two IED explosions in the erstwhile peaceful hill station of Meghalaya in Shillong in Meghalaya. And immediately after that incident, police swung into action. There was investigation, and just a day after the IED explosions, the police carried out a pre-morning operation at the residence of surrendered militant Thank You at Molai area in Shillong. And according to police, when they went into his house, he tried to attack the police team with a knife, and the police had to do a retaliatory firing in which the militant leader got killed. But the people are somewhat not ready to digest what the police version is coming out, because police is stating that he was involved in the twin explosions which struck Shillong last Wednesday. And things went out of control yesterday when there were violent incidents across Shillong, which has forced the government to impose a total curfew in Shillong and a ban on internet.
Right. Thanks for that, Arindam. In fact, we'll keep in touch with you over the latest updates coming in from Meghalaya, and we'll be monitoring the situation there very closely. Thank you for that input.